When did the high school legend become a legend? Our school had this kid named Marcus who was basically invisible. Skinny freshman, thick glasses, always carried this beat-up backpack, held together with duct tape. The kind of kid who ate lunch alone in the library reading programming books while everyone else was outside being normal teenagers. Marcus never talked in class, never raised his hand, never tried out for anything. Most people didn't even know his name until junior year, when everything changed in the most unexpected way possible. It started during the homecoming assembly. Our principal was announcing the fundraiser results for new football uniforms. They needed $8,000, but only raised $3,000. The team would have to keep wearing jerseys with holes and faded numbers for another season. That's when Marcus stood up in the back of the gym. This quiet kid who never spoke suddenly walked out to the microphone in front of 200 students. His hands were shaking as he pulled out his phone, and you could hear people whispering and laughing. "I'd like to make a donation," he said in this barely audible voice. The gym went completely silent. You could hear people shifting in their seats wondering what this random kid was doing and why he thought he could help. He showed his phone screen to the principal. $8,000 Venmo transfer. Complete payment for the uniforms just like that. The entire gym exploded in cheers and confusion. Kids were standing up, screaming, taking videos, but Marcus wasn't done. Over the next month, weird things started happening around school. The broken vending machine in the senior hallway got mysteriously fixed overnight. New computers appeared in the computer lab. The drama department suddenly had enough money for proper costumes instead of bed sheets. Every time it was an anonymous donation, but kids started putting pieces together. Marcus would disappear during lunch. Then something good would happen to the school. A new scoreboard for the basketball team, fresh paint in the hallways, working air conditioning in the science wing that hadn't worked in 5 years. The craziest part was when our janitor got fired for stealing. Mr. Peterson had been there for 20 years, but they caught him taking cleaning supplies home. His wife had cancer, and they couldn't afford her medicine, so he was selling whatever he could. 2 days later, Peterson got rehired. Turns out someone had anonymously paid his wife's medical bills for the next 2 years and given the school money to replace everything he'd taken. Peterson cried in the hallway when he came back to work. People started calling Marcus the ghost donor, but nobody could figure out where a 17-year-old was getting all this money. His mom worked at the grocery store checkout. His dad drove a delivery truck for the bread company. They lived in a tiny apartment across from the gas station. Teachers started paying attention to Marcus differently, not because he was suddenly popular, but because they realized this quiet kid had been watching and caring about everything happening around him while staying completely invisible. Then senior year, everything made sense. Marcus got accepted to MIT with a full scholarship. Turns out he'd been designing and selling mobile apps since he was 14 years old. His first app made $50,000. His second made $200,000. His third made $500,000. While everyone else was worried about homework and dating and who was going to prom, Marcus had built a small fortune writing code in his bedroom after school. But instead of buying himself a car or fancy clothes, he'd been secretly fixing everything wrong with our school. At graduation, the principal called Marcus to the stage for a special recognition. When he handed Marcus the microphone, Marcus finally explained everything to the packed auditorium full of families and students. "I spent 3 years invisible in these hallways," he said, his voice finally confident. "But the school never gave up on me. The teachers who stayed after to help. The librarian who let me eat lunch there every day. The custodian who never made me feel like a burden for being different." His voice got stronger as he kept talking. "I couldn't fix the bullying or make myself popular or change who I was, but I could fix the broken things. I could make sure other kids had what they needed to succeed here." The standing ovation lasted 5 minutes. Kids were crying. Teachers were crying. Even the tough football players were wiping their eyes. Marcus had turned from the invisible kid into the person everyone would remember forever. 5 years later, Marcus sold his company for $12 million. The first thing he did was establish a permanent scholarship fund for our school.